Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokche Capital. Now before I begin, be sure to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. The Reverend David Brawley lived through New York's upheaval in the 1970s, and the neighborhood where his congregation sat was one of the hardest hit. But Reverend Brawley had a plan. What did he do? We'll find out at the end of this video. But first, if you plan to purchase a home, why not go for a triplex? And in today's video, we have the top things you ought to know about these underappreciated homes. Number 1. What is a triplex? A triplex consists of 3 individual dwelling units combined into one building. Number 2. Who owns each unit in a triplex? A triplex is sold as one building with a single owner who usually lives in one unit and rents out the other 2, although sometimes the owner may rent out all 3. Number 3. What are the benefits of a triplex for a renter? First of all, triplexes often have in-unit amenities that are desirable to tenants, like laundry, driveways, patios, porches, and sometimes garages. Compared to a traditional apartment building, a triplex is more private. You won't have to deal with as many neighbors, and you may share only one wall or roof with a fellow tenant. Finally, triplexes can be among the largest units you'll find on the market. They're often popular with families because of how spacious they are. Number 4. What are the benefits of a triplex for a homeowner? If you're looking to invest in a larger multifamily property, then a triplex is a great starter option. By renting out 2 or even all of the units, you can generate a high rental income, which will allow you to pay off your mortgage fast. It offers flexibility in that you can make the triplex your home and rent out the 2 additional units. Finally, there are several tax advantages to having a triplex. This includes the traditional homeownership deductions, but also the ability to write off certain costs such as maintenance, repairs, and utility bills on the rental units. Number 5. What are the downsides of a triplex for a homeowner? Though a triplex can be a great investment, there are several reasons why it doesn't work for everyone. Triplexes are more expensive than a single-family home or even a duplex. They can be more difficult to sell because they are more expensive and because they come with the added complication of dealing with 2 tenants. A triplex does require work. In my old job, I helped to fund the construction of several triplexes, and I remember my boss once mentioning that the owner of a triplex is essentially a small business owner. There is a big difference between having 1 and 2 rental units. And for the first-time home buyer, a triplex may be too much work. Finally, you may not be able to use the full income to qualify for a mortgage. What this means in practice is that unless you have a high-paying job, you may not be able to qualify for a mortgage that will cover the full cost of the triplex. Number 6. What financing options are available? Because a triplex has less than 4 units, it is considered a residential property, and thus most conventional residential mortgages, including FHA-backed loans, are an option. The caveat being that, for the most part, if you want to qualify for a conventional mortgage, you must plan to live in the property. And number 7. What costs affect the cash flow of a triplex? When you're analyzing a triplex cash flow before purchase, be sure to factor in the following when estimating the costs: principal and interest payments on your mortgage, property taxes, homeowner's insurance, and repair and maintenance costs on all 3 units. Now these are the common sense items, but also don't forget to include a vacancy rate on the rental income. There may be several months when you aren't renting out 1 or both of the units, and if you don't factor this into your pre-purchase calculations, you may find that the overall return on your investment is lower than you expected. But now that we've covered the basics of a triplex, let's return to Reverend Brawley and the NEHEMIAH plan to save New York. On an October day in 1982, 5,000 people gathered on a street in Brooklyn's Brownsville neighborhood. The surrounding area was dotted with abandoned walk-ups and vacant lots, testament to the economic downturn that had gripped the city since the 1970s. Yet the crowd was jubilant today, and shouts of EBC rose as Mayor Ed Koch stepped to the fore. The mayor began to count down, and when he reached 0, a bulldozer awoke and dug into the ground. This was the groundbreaking for the first 130 units of the NEHEMIAH plan. Named for the biblical prophet who rebuilt Jerusalem, the NEHEMIAH homes were the brainchild of Reverend Brawley and other leaders of the East Brooklyn congregations. EBC believed in Saul Alinsky's iron rule of organizing: never do for others what they can do for themselves. And to this end, EBC partnered with developer I.D. Robbins to design, fund, and build thousands of homes on the abandoned tax-foreclosed lots in Brownsville. The homes were sold at cost for a price of about $100,000 in today's dollars. But down payment assistance was not allowed. All buyers were required to have a financial stake in their home and neighborhood. Peter and Ruth Palacio, immigrants from Belize and Honduras, were two of the original buyers, and like many of the NEHEMIAH purchasers, held solid, middle-class jobs. Peter was a factory worker and Ruth a school psychologist. They and their two daughters had lived in public housing, where life was noisy and stressful, and the couple worried the children couldn't focus on their schooling. When they moved to their NEHEMIAH house, their daughters got a safe place to play, a quiet area to complete their homework, and a good night's sleep. The Palacios, along with hundreds of other buyers, are a living testament to EBC's foresight that stable, affordable single-family housing is an important element in grounding neighborhoods struggling with disinvestment or gentrification. And the numbers back them up. By one estimate, the 4,500 homes EBC built over the course of 4 decades increased the housing stock in East New York by 38%. And a Fannie Mae study indicated that the homes raised surrounding building values by 23.6%. Furthermore, EBC's strict financing requirements meant that NEHEMIAH buyers have been by some measures more successful than their counterparts in other parts of the country, weathering the 2008 financial crisis with next to no foreclosures. Today, EBC is still active, and I actually worked on one of their latest projects, 1,500 homes, mainly duplexes and triplexes, in Spring Creek. And if EBC and the NEHEMIAH homeowners can make this kind of change in their communities, consider what you can do in yours. So what do you think? Do you have any stories on building or buying homes or triplexes? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. We'll make you a land due diligence expert in just 7 days. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down listings at gokcecapital.com/listings. Finally, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email, call, or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So thank you for listening, and more to come.